Hi guys and welcome to Must Do DLR set series powered by Coachify. I am Mohit, mentor of thousands of students. आज का जो पजल सेट है ये CAT 2024 DLR स्लॉट 3 में से है। ये परसेंटेज एंड सक्सेसिव परसेंटेज चेंज के ऊपर बेस्ड है। बहुत आसान है, हम इसको बनाएंगे। अगर आप एक न्यू व्यूअर हैं तो आपके लिए कुछ इंस्ट्रक्शंस हैं। देयर इज अ लिंक गिवन इन द डिस्क्रिप्शन ऑफ द वीडियो that will take you to the PYQ zone. Firstly, go and attempt it on your own and then do watch the explanation there itself. Let's quickly understand the information given in this set first. So there is a table given to us. This data is for year 2024. Now we have GDP, we have GDP per capita. How to find out GDP per capita? GDP value divided by population value will give you GDP per capita. These two are calculated by taking some countries' data as a reference. So GDP values are calculated by taking country 9's data as reference because country 9's GDP value is highest. This is given here. Country 9 has the highest GDP. Right. Similarly, GDP per capita values are calculated by taking reference value of country 10. So that's how it is calculated. So GDP per capita value is highest for country 10. This is given here, right? So as a fraction, these values are calculated. Let's say if you're trying to find out GDP value for country 1, how you are calculating? So GDP value of country 1 divided by GDP value of country 9. So this is how these figures are represented. And GDP per capita is with respect to country 10's data. Okay. Now some additional information is also there. Column 1 ये हो गया, identity बता रहा है ये. Column 2 gives countries GDP as a fraction. This I have explained. Column 3 gives the country's GDP per capita as a fraction of the GDP per capita of country 10. I have explained. So these figures are with respect to country 9's data, and these figures are with respect to country 10's data. Now column 4 gives country's annual GDP growth rate. So this column gives you annual GDP growth rate, right? What will be the utility of it? So firstly, we can understand one thing, that this set is based upon percentage, successive percentage and all. So this is all that we are going to do in this particular puzzle set. And let's say if we have to find out 2025 values, for that, these growth rate figures are given to us. Column 5 gives us the country's annual population growth rate. Okay. So let's say if we have country 1's population for 2024, then if we have to find out the value for 2025, then we have to bring this figure into consideration. So now this is all about this set. One more small point was there. Assume that the GDP growth rates and population growth rate of the countries will remain constant for next 3 years. That means the same rate of growth we can use for next 3 consecutive years for 2025, 26, 27, right? So this is all about the information. Now we have to go with the questions, and we have to see that how we can utilize this data for finding out the answers. So very first question, which one among the countries 1 through 8 has the smallest population in 2024? And we have to calculate this for these 4 countries. So let's calculate for country 3, country 5, country 7 and country 8. And how we can find out population? So we have seen simply GDP per capita hai, GDP hai. So when you divide GDP with GDP per capita, then you can find out population. Why? कैसे? क्योंकि GDP per capita you can find out by dividing GDP value with population, right? So now when you divide GDP with GDP per capita, then you can find out population. Simple. So now all we need to do is we need to take these figures for these 4 countries and we need to compare the fractions. Okay. So C3, GDP value is 0.13. and GDP per capita is 0.02. So this becomes 0.13 divided by 0.02. Okay. So this becomes 13 by 2. Nice. Then we have country 5. So for country 5, we have 0.1 and 0.36. This is 0.1 upon 0.36. So this becomes 10 upon 36. That means 5 by 18. So we have to find out lowest population, smallest population, right? So this value is more than 1, right? So ये तो eliminate हो गया, मतलब this is less than 1. तो इन दोनों को अगर when we compare these two, this is definitely larger, eliminated. Okay. Now let's proceed. For country 7, 0.08 divided by 0.3, 0.08 divided by 0.3. So this becomes again 8 by 30. So 8 by 30 is, we have 4 by 15. So this is what we are getting here. Then country 8, 0.07 upon 0.41. So this becomes 7 upon 41. right? So this is also correct. One correct, 4 by 50. Yes. Now we have to compare these three and we have to find out which value is smallest. So clearly we can see that 7 by 41 is the smallest value, and we have to find out smallest population in 2024. So country 8, A option is the right answer. Next question, the ratio of country 4 GDP to country 5 GDP in 2026 will be closest to. So these figures are for 2024. We have to find out the values for 2026. Okay. That means we have to go for two, successive percentage changes, right, in the values. So let's calculate for country 4 first. So country 4's current GDP is 0.12. Okay. Now, what we need to do is we need to find out the values for 2026. For that, we have to look at the growth rate figures. So it is 0.5%. So this becomes 0.5 upon 100. So this becomes 1.005. So 1.005, and this we have to do for 2 consecutive years because we have to find out the values for 2026. Similarly, for country 5, the current value is 0.1 and the growth rate is 0.7%. That means 1.007 to the power 2. Now all we need to do is we need to find out this ratio. So आपको सिर्फ इसका ratio calculate करना है and you have to find out the closest value, approximate value. I suggest आप इसके लिए calculator use करो. That will give you the answer very quickly. क्योंकि the values are very close. Since the values are very close, तो अगर आप approximation ऐसे करने जाओगे, there are high chances कि आप error कर दोगे. And देखो, see, the values are very close here also in options. So when you will use the calculator and find out the exact value, you will get A option as the right answer. Which one among the countries 1, 4, 5 and 7 will have the largest population in 2027? We have to calculate the values for 2027. These figures are for 2024. So firstly, we have to find out the values of population for these 4 countries in 2024. So C1, C4, C5 and C7. Let's calculate the population value for 2024 first. How we can do that? Simply dividing GDP value with GDP per capita. So for this one, 0.15 divided by 0.45. Nice. Now for C4, 0.12 divided by 0.38. For C5, 0.1 upon 0.36. And for C7, 0.08 upon 0.3. So these are the values that we are getting for 2024. Population figures are there, right? Now we need to find out the values for 2027. For that, we need to bring growth rate into consideration. So for and since the growth rate is constant for next 3 years, so we can use the figures as it is, right, for 3 consecutive changes. So now 0.12% decrease. Okay. So what this value will be? So firstly, this is 1 minus 0.0012, right? 0.0012. So that becomes 8899, 0.9988. So this value should be multiplied by 0.9988 to the power 3 from 2024 to 25, 1, 25 to 26, 26 to 27, right? So this will give you the figure for C1 for 2027. Population figures are there. Now similarly for C4, 0.49%. So this is divided by 100 and 1.0049. 1.0049. Yes, to the power 3. Similarly for C5, 0.31. So this becomes 1.0031 to the power 3. And for C7, this is minus 0.11. So again, same way, 1 minus, this is 0.0011. So 9, 8, 9, 9. So this is 0.9989 to the power 3. Now again, to calculate these values, better is to use the calculator because the values may be very close, right? And there are high chances of making an error here, right? So when you will calculate, you will find out that the population value is largest for C1 and correct answer will be A option. Last question, for how many countries among C1 through C8 will the GDP per capita in 2027 will be lower than that in 2024? Firstly, how to find out GDP per capita, right? How to find out this value? Simple, GDP value divided by population value. And we need to check for each and every country individually, right? The value should be lower in 2027 in comparison to 2024. When it will happen? When the growth rate in population should be more in comparison to the growth rate in GDP. By your numerator should decrease and denominator should increase, then only this value will get lower, right? So when you will check for any of the country, you will find out that this is not happening. Let's say if we talk about C1, so this is increasing, this value, growth rate value, GDP growth rate value is more than population growth rate, eliminated. Again, here also you can see, GDP growth rate is more than population growth rate, eliminated. GDP growth rate is again more than that. So when you will check for all the 8 countries, you will find out that none of the countries there for which population growth rate value is more in comparison to GDP growth rate. So correct answer is 0 countries. Now for free resources, you can join our WhatsApp group. The link is in the description. I hope you enjoyed the solution of today's puzzle set. See you in the next video. Till then, keep learning, keep solving. Bye-bye and take care.